Charlottesville, Virginia, home to Thomas Jefferson and the University of Virginia, has a long history of being a voice for freedom. Now it can add freedom from drones to the list. Charlottesville's anti-drone resolution is the first of its kind in the nation.
We have a very active group of socially conscientious activists, and they will often bring us issues that they see as emerging across the country. And so that is exactly what happened with the drone resolution.
The resolution, which passed by a 3-2 vote, calls on the Virginia General Assembly and Congress to adopt legislation barring information obtained from drones by being used in court. And the city has adopted such a ban locally. The measure also endorses a proposed 2-year moratorium on drones in Virginia. Councilmember Dave Norris, who voted in favor of the bill, sees the issue as urgent.
We know that this technology is already being heavily marketed to local law enforcement agencies and other groups. And there's even one county in Virginia that already purchased 2 drones for surveillance. And so we know it's coming, and we just felt like we wanted to get out ahead of it.
However, not everyone in Charlottesville is on board. Vice Mayor Kristen Zakos voted against the resolution. She told other council members that the action is premature.
This anti-drone thing to me seems to be sort of like outlawing planes because bombs can be dropped from them.
The resolution that the council passed was a toned-down version of activist David Swanson's proposal for a no-drone zone.
In there, I included a local ban on drone use in Charlottesville, public or private. One thing they added was not a ban on local use of drones, but a commitment from the city that they would never use drones for surveillance or weaponized, should they ever use any drones in any way.
The legislation won't prevent federal or state-operated drones from flying over Charlottesville. But the resolution has raised awareness and prompted other cities and states to take similar measures.
I've heard from city council members in cities large and small, towns I never heard of before, have contacted me asking for a draft resolution.
John Whitehead, the original author on the Charlottesville resolution, has now floated anti-drone legislation in all 50 states.
We have about 17 states that are considering our legislation, which basically says that any type of domestic drones flown in this country can now have any kind of anti-personnel weapons, 1. And 2, any information that they collect cannot be used against American citizens in a court of law.
Since the resolution was passed, lawmakers in other states have begun drawing up their own versions. Currently, 27 states are considering anti-drone legislation. Groups like the Electronic Privacy Information Center have praised Charlottesville for its proactive measures.
We've seen a growing increase in recognition that this is a problem and that there's a real privacy concern with the use of this technology. These bills not only are going to be talked about, but they're going to be passed, and there's going to be real rules for drone surveillance in the United States.
Even though privacy advocates admit that drones have benevolent uses, it might not be enough to outweigh potential negatives.
We've survived for millennia without coffee delivered by drones. And, if we have to sacrifice that to protect our fundamental constitutional rights and the future of representative government in this country, I'm willing to do it.
And with the proliferation of anti-drone resolutions in the country, this looks like the beginning of a new fight over constitutional rights. In Charlottesville, Justine Underhill, RT.